Hey, Kentucky fans! Mo Williams deserves a lot of praise for securing the signing of five-star player Ryan Hampton to Kentucky. He was a great help in signing Ryan Hampton. Let's see the news. Before we go, subscribe to the channel to receive more Kentucky news. The signing of five-star forward Ryan Hampton by Kentucky continues to have an extremely positive impact behind the scenes of the program. But in addition to the praise directed at Mark Pope for the important victory in the recruitment, one name has received special attention for his decisive role in the negotiation: Mo Williams. Since taking over the Wildcats, Pope has been the target of constant analysis regarding his ability to compete for the country's top talent. Despite the positive results obtained on several fronts, some critics still questioned whether the coach would be able to win disputes involving the most coveted athletes in future recruitment classes. The answer may have started to become clear with the arrival of Hampton, considered one of the most talented players of the 2027 generation. Securing the commitment of a prospect of this caliber early in the cycle represents a significant achievement for Kentucky. However, as more details of the recruitment process came to light, it became evident that Mo Williams' influence played a significant role in the favorable outcome for the Wildcats. Hampton's father's statements reinforce this perception. Commenting on the recruitment process, he highlighted that Williams was the key figure in closing the deal. In an environment as competitive as the recruitment of five-star players, this type of recognition rarely happens without reason. When athletes' family members directly point to a member of the coaching staff as a decisive factor in the choice, it demonstrates the level of trust that was built during the process. Naturally, Mark Pope played a fundamental role in the entire negotiation. The coach remains the face of Kentucky's sports project and is responsible for presenting his vision for the program's future. However, elite recruitment typically requires a collective effort, and all indications are that Williams was the difference maker that helped the Wildcats cross the finish line ahead of their competitors. The importance of this cannot be underestimated. Hampton is not just another talented player. He is one of the most valued names in the entire 2027 class and has the potential to become one of the faces of the program in the coming years. Securing this commitment so early offers stability to the recruitment class and creates a positive effect that can influence other important decisions in the future. Mo Williams' presence on the coaching staff also helps explain why his influence has been so strong among young athletes. Few assistant coaches can boast such a respected resume. Before starting his coaching career, Williams built a long career in the NBA, participated in all-star games, and won a title alongside LeBron James. This experience offers immediate credibility when he talks to players who dream of reaching the highest level of the sport. For many recruits, hearing advice from someone who has lived the path they wish to follow carries enormous weight. Williams understands the challenges of developing an elite athlete, grasps what it takes to reach the NBA, and can share real-world experiences about the process. This type of connection often translates into a significant advantage during negotiations. Furthermore, his arrival in Kentucky came at a strategic moment. After leaving Jackson State, Williams decided to join Mark Pope's team just as the Wildcats were looking to consolidate a new era of recruitment. His impact seems to have been immediate. If Hampton truly represents the first major result of this partnership, fans have reason to believe that other important names could follow the same path. The most exciting aspect for Kentucky is that Hampton's commitment may be just the beginning. Elite recruitments often generate chain reactions. When a five-star player chooses a particular program, other athletes begin to pay closer attention to what is being built. This strengthens the project's image and increases the interest of future prospects. For this reason, Hampton's signing is seen by many as something bigger than a simple addition to the future roster. The 2026 to 27 season could represent a true turning point in Cam Williams' trajectory with Kentucky. After a first year marked by flashes of talent, gradual growth, and an injury that interrupted his best moment of the season, the forward returns to Lexington surrounded by much higher expectations. For many Wildcats fans, Williams is one of the players most prepared to make a significant leap in production under Mark Pope's leadership. The player's continued presence on the roster was already an important victory for Kentucky. In an era where the transfer market constantly transforms college rosters, there was a legitimate concern that Williams might seek a new opportunity in another program. Instead, he chose to continue his development in Lexington, a decision that could bring important dividends for a team seeking to combine experience and talent in pursuit of a standout season. Williams' first year at Kentucky ended with averages of 6 points, 2.1 rebounds, and 1 assist per game. While the numbers may not immediately grab attention, they don't tell the whole story. The forward had been showing consistent improvement and was beginning to find his place within the rotation when he suffered a foot injury that ultimately compromised his growth trajectory. Even returning for the final stretch of the season and the postseason, it was evident that he was still not playing at his best physical condition. Now, fully recovered, Williams enters the new season with the opportunity to show the player Kentucky believed they were getting. His combination of size, athleticism, and shooting ability remains extremely attractive to Mark Pope's system, especially in a basketball game increasingly dependent on offensive spacing and versatility at the wings. Much of the discussion about Williams' role revolves around the possible arrival of Milan Momcilovic. If Kentucky manages to finalize this addition, there is a strong possibility that Williams will start several games coming off the bench. However, this wouldn't necessarily be negative news. On the contrary, it could put him in an ideal position to exploit his strengths. The best college teams often have reserves capable of changing the pace of games immediately upon entering the court. Williams possesses characteristics that make him a natural candidate for this role. His ability to score quickly, especially through long-range shooting, could transform him into one of the Wildcats' main offensive weapons for the second unit. Within this scenario, a projection of 9.1 points per game seems quite plausible. If Momcilovic arrives and Williams assumes the role of primary scorer coming off the bench, this average would represent a considerable improvement compared to the previous year. However, there's also a scenario where his growth is even greater. If Kentucky fails to add Momcilovic to the roster and Williams secures a permanent starting spot, averages close to 12 points per game don't seem out of reach. The key to this offensive leap may lie in a simple aspect: confidence. Williams has demonstrated on several occasions that he possesses one of the most natural shots on the roster. In some games last season, it was evident that he had the ability to ignite the Wildcats' offense when he found his rhythm. The next step in his evolution will be to take on more offensive responsibilities and attempt shots more frequently. In the rebounding department, growth is also expected. His 2.1 rebounds per game last year fell short of what many expected from an athlete with his physical build. At 2.03 meters tall and with excellent athletic attributes, Williams possesses all the necessary tools to become a more consistent contributor in this area. This evolution would be particularly important for Kentucky. During the Mark Pope era, rebounding was a recurring topic of discussion. On several occasions, the Wildcats struggled to control the board against more physical opponents. Williams' development as a rebounder would directly help correct one of the main areas the coaching staff seeks to strengthen. An average of 4.1 rebounds per game seems like a realistic and achievable goal. It wouldn't be an extraordinary mark for his position, but it would represent practically double the production he showed in the previous season. More important than the numbers themselves would be the consistency in contributing to this aspect of the game. However, many believe Williams has the greatest potential for growth in his three-point shooting. His previous season ended with approximately 35% accuracy on long-range shots, a respectable number. Kentucky is making headlines again by offering a scholarship to another highly valued player from the same generation, point guard Jackson Davis. The news represents yet another clear sign that the Wildcats are aggressively working to build a class that could become one of the most impressive of the Mark Pope era. While Davis's recruitment is still in its early stages, the mere fact that Kentucky is officially in the running for one of the best players in the country demonstrates the program's ambition and the coaching staff's confidence in its ability to compete for the top talent on the national scene. Davis is not just a highly valued prospect. The point guard from Gurnee, Illinois, has built a solid reputation as one of the most complete and productive players in the class of 2027. Currently ranked as the best player in the entire state of Illinois, he holds a prominent position in the national rankings and continues to strengthen his resume each new season. His recent performance helps explain why so many top universities are in the running. Davis earned his second consecutive Gatorade Illinois Player of the Year award, an achievement that reinforces his consistency and ability to produce at a high level. Receiving this recognition once is already a significant feat. Winning it in consecutive seasons demonstrates an athlete who continues to evolve and maintain a high standard of performance. In addition to his success in high school basketball, Davis also drew attention during the EYBL circuit, considered one of the main showcases for young talent in the United States. Playing for Mean Streets, he posted extremely solid numbers, contributing as a scorer, playmaker, and defender. His averages of 14.2 points, 5.2 assists, and 1.6 steals per game show a point guard capable of impacting the game in various ways. Perhaps one of the most encouraging aspects of his development is his efficiency in long-range shooting. Converting almost 39% of his three-point attempts in such a competitive environment demonstrates a characteristic that is usually highly valued in modern basketball. Point guards capable of creating plays for their teammates while simultaneously punishing defenses with consistent shooting are valuable assets to any elite program. Another interesting detail is that some of these performances took place in front of the Kentucky coaching staff. This means that the Wildcats' evaluation isn't based solely on videos or recruitment reports. The coaches had the opportunity to observe his performance in person against some of the best talent in the country, which usually further strengthens a program's interest. Naturally, the competition for Davis will be intense. His list of offers includes several traditional and highly competitive universities. Programs such as Illinois, Purdue, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio State, Missouri, Iowa, Georgia, and Notre Dame are already involved in the process, highlighting the size of the competition Kentucky will face over the coming months and years. However, there is an element that could help the Wildcats build a special connection during this recruitment process. Among the players Davis says he admires is Tyrese Maxey, one of the most successful former athletes to have played for Kentucky in recent years. This admiration guarantees absolutely nothing in terms of future decisions, but it certainly offers an interesting starting point for the relationship between the player and the program. Maxey's trajectory continues to be an excellent example of the type of development that many young point guards seek when choosing a university. His time at Kentucky served as a platform to reach the highest level of the sport, and stories like this continue to be important recruitment tools for the Wildcats. The timing is also favorable for Kentucky because of the energy created around the class of 2027. The arrival of Ryan Hampton has already significantly raised the bar for expectations for the group, And the offer to Davis shows that Pope intends to surround this talent with other players capable of forming an elite base for the future of the program. Are you happy with the new Wildcats recruits? Leave your opinion.